Hey everyone, Jeremy Knauff here with Spartan Media, and today I want to talk about a question that we get asked a lot, and that is, why won't you, or for that matter, why won't most agencies work on a performance model? Now, for those of you who may not know, a performance model is basically where an agency would get a percentage of the increase in sales, right? So if they go out and they generate an extra $20,000, $50,000, $1 million a month, whatever that number is, they would then get a percentage of that. Kind of similar to how a salesperson works, right? Now, on the surface, it seems totally fair, right? If an agency is good at what they do, they should know that they're going to be able to deliver certain results, and it's just a matter of following the process. The reality is it doesn't really work that way. And the fact is most agencies won't work on a performance model, period. But those that do, it's going to be with a large established company, not with small business. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But there's three main reasons. So the first, especially when it comes to smaller business, is most clients, they lack the commitment, right? So when you're setting up a marketing campaign, you have to plan things out. You have to set up a strategy. You have to then go execute. And then you've got all of these steps along the way. And then you've got to track, refine, improve, do all of this stuff. And it takes time to get results. It's not going to be, right away. So if we're talking about a performance model, and a client comes in and we're month 1, month 2 in, whatever it is, and they're not getting leads immediately, despite having been told that it's not going to be immediate in a lot of cases, they start getting cold feet and want to back out. Well, if a marketer has worked on a performance model, they've now set up all of this foundation. They haven't been paid for any of it. And now, if the client wants to leave, they have no way of getting paid for the work that they've done, even though everything was lined up where it's, we talk about, how long it will take to deliver results in certain circumstances. Like for example, SEO. SEO takes time. It's not something that you go flip a switch, tweak some code, and then all of a sudden everything is ranking great. That's just not how it works. You could be looking at several months, sometimes up to a year before you start to see results. But once that happens, you can dominate your industry. But if you don't have the commitment to follow through on that, then it's not going to work out for you. So that's one of the first reasons, is just the lack of commitment. The second reason is, honestly, we have no idea the state of your business. I've had, personally in my agency, I've had people come up to me and ask us, hey, will you come in and work, and whatever percentage whatever increase in business you get, we'll give you whatever the number is, right? Let's just say 20% of the increased revenue. Well, I don't know that they have the money to do that. So then we say, well, let's go ahead and see what this relationship might look like. Let's do an audited financial statement and see, the strength of your business. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. All right, so what you're asking is for an agency to just trust you, a stranger off the street, that your financials are solid and that you're going to do exactly what you say you're going to do. Now, if we walked up to a client and said, hey, I want you to sign this contract and just have us, do whatever we think we should do, whatever the cost is, don't worry about the cost. We're going to charge you whatever we want and then just send you a bill. Like, you would not be cool with that, and I would totally agree with you because it's insane. But that's what you're asking people to do when you're wanting them to work on a revenue share and you're not willing to, share financial details, share the strength of your company, things like that. For that matter, we also don't know what your sales process looks like, right? Can you close a sale? We don't know. I've had cases where we talk to a potential client, and they talk about how awesome their sales team is. They've got all this great training in this process and blah, blah, blah. But then we listen in on a phone call, and they have no interest in talking to the customer. They're just grumpy. They don't close the sale, whatever. So if we don't know what your sales process looks like, we can't control that aspect of it, then it would be insane for an agency to go ahead and just work on a performance model. Same applies to customer service, right? Like, you could sell all kinds of things. I've seen businesses that were great at selling, but when it comes time to deliver, or when it comes time to take care of the customer after they have the product, then they really drop the ball. So when that happens, what you have is you have disgruntled customers. Now you have to spend a bunch of money trying to make them happy, and that eats into the profitability. And then when that happens, then you don't have the ability to pay your bills. So that creates a problem there. Now the third reason is a lot of clients, they just don't understand marketing, okay? We were working with a client a while back who insisted that, they had the best month ever after working with us. And they insisted, though, that literally none of that was from what we did. Now, I know that wasn't true. They specifically told us that they didn't do anything different in marketing, but they had the biggest month ever, right? So, but that's just the surface. We dug a little bit deeper, and we had set up tracking for all the stuff. We could have recordings of phone calls, and we went through and we started going through MP3 files of the phone calls, and you would hear lead after lead after lead just ring and ring and ring, go to voicemail, or you would hear the salesperson pick up the phone, and they acted disinterested, or they acted annoyed that the customer would even have the audacity to call them, right? They're calling you, trying to buy a thing, and you sound pissed off to them on the phone. But they insisted, we haven't gotten any phone calls, we haven't gotten any leads, we haven't gotten anything. But we've got folders full of MP3s of all of these phone calls that are recordings, right? So it's not us saying, hey, we're doing great. It's, here's an objective third-party data showing that all of these leads came through. And there was a variety of sources of data like that. So they just didn't understand what was going on, and then none of these leads were in their CRM system. It was just bone empty. So the other side of that thing is, when I talk about people not understanding marketing, is they want to limit what counts towards being paid, right? So let's say we're out here, we're doing this huge campaign where we're driving awareness on Facebook. We're doing a bunch of stuff on YouTube. We're doing organic search. We're doing all of these different things. And then they're like, oh, well, we only want, take your pick, right? We only want you to pay you on leads that come in through the contact form. Or we only want to pay you if somebody sends us a message on Facebook directly. Like, that's insane. If you're doing a proper marketing campaign, you've got all of these components. You're building awareness. You could be using social media to build brand awareness over a period of months. And then when that person finally goes and picks up the phone, or they go into Google and they type something in to find that company, and then the company wants to not pay for that because, well, it didn't come from this particular thing, but they're ignoring all of the other things that led up to that phone call, right? If somebody's going to go on a performance model, that should be across the whole board. And a lot of people don't want to do that because they don't understand marketing. They don't understand how all of the pieces play together. So, when you're looking at working with a marketing agency, whether it's print, digital, whatever you're looking at, you have to look at it like any other business relationship. You have to go into it with a win-win type of scenario, right? They have a certain expertise. If they want to work with you and you want to work with them, it has to be something where both parties win. If you're going in and trying to, basically pay them third world wages and, you reap all of the rewards, they're not going to have any interest in doing that. So, if that's your mindset, you're probably not going to have a lot of luck. That being said, when you are working with an agency, it's important right off the bat to define, what your deliverables are, what your KPIs are, or key performance indicators. What's going to count, right? What are we looking at to track whether or not the results are working? Are we looking at leads? Are we looking at traffic? Are we looking at brand awareness? There's so many different factors, and you have to define these up front before the campaign starts, so that once things start rolling, you guys can figure out what's working, what's not. You can refine it, you can get the results you're looking for, and if it's not working, then you can decide whether or not you guys want to keep working together or just part ways. But in order to do that, you guys have to be in a relationship where both parties are going to win. You have to define the KPIs, you have to define the deliverables, and you have to communicate throughout the process. So if you guys want to find an agency that's going to work for you, that's how you have to make it happen. Thanks, everybody. I encourage you guys, if you found this valuable, go ahead and subscribe up in the red button up there. And if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. I'll try to get to as many as I can. Thanks, everyone.